Hey, and welcome to this little tutorial where I'm gonna introduce you to WordPress environments. It's like a little library that is provided by WordPress and that will actually ease your development when you are working on a theme or a plugin. The idea is to set up really quickly using Docker and NPM a WordPress development environment for either a theme or either a plugin. So as I said, like it's working on top of Docker. So that is one of the requirements to use that tool. And if you go on the official documentation, you're gonna see here that actually they provide you a little tutorial on how to install it on Windows, macOS, or Linux. And same thing, as I told you, like we are using npm to control the tool, so we need node to be actually able to work with the WordPress environment. And same thing, they provide you again like a little tutorial on how to set it up. And the last dependency, I didn't mention it, but it's Git, and you are not mandatory to use it, but that's a nice feature to have. So now that we introduce a bit the tool, why we want to use it, I propose you to practice a bit and to like show you a little example. So welcome to like my little example. So as you can see, for this example, we just have a small plugin that does absolutely nothing. It just shows up. So when you will want to use WordPress environment, you will have to install it within the folder of the plugin or the theme you want to develop. So here in our case, the name of the plugin is WordPress app. And so that's why we're gonna install our library inside this folder, which is a folder from the plugin. So for that, as I mentioned before, we're gonna use npm. So I type npm I and WordPress app. And then it should install it for me and create a package.json. As you can see, here I have my package.json. I have the package lock that makes sure that in my local environment, if I share that file, I always have the same library installed. I have my node module where actually I have all of the dependency installed. And that's it. For the moment, I just installed the library. The next step then gonna be to use it. What you need to know about WordPress environments is that actually to work with it, you will have three possible states. The project is not yet installed on your computer, and so you will have to start the project to build your environment. The second step is that it's just shut down but still present. And the last step is you want to clean up your environment because, like, I don't know, for example, you need space. And so we will have to delete that environment. So let's start with the first script that will actually start the environment. And as I told you, the idea behind this script will be actually to build the WordPress environment. So here, as you can see, I added the script inside my package.json, and now I can just run it typing npm run wp start. Then it will configure, install everything by itself. Oh, I got an issue. So you see here, I got an error. Often that error you can have if you forgot to install the Docker Compose plugin. So what you need to do is go back to the Docker documentation and make sure that you actually did that step. So now I'm gonna run it again, but this time I install the Docker Compose plugin. As you can see, it takes a bit of time because it first need to download like local images, like the environment for WordPress. Then it's gonna download WordPress and it's gonna configure it for us. What is interesting is that there, with the development environment, it won't only install WordPress for you. It will also install and configure all the tools that actually you need to test. So that means the CLI, but also the script to control the WordPress when you are doing some automated tests. Nearly finished installing. And you're gonna see that when it finish, it will be actually like running on some random port on your machine. Okay, perfect. As I told you, like now it's running on a random port on my machine. So just let me open it, and I'm gonna show you that we have WordPress environment which is actually running and with the plugin installed. As you can see here, I have a WordPress installed on my computer, and I actually did nearly nothing to configure it, and that's what's beautiful about it. Then, like if I want to go like on the admin, I can just do WP admin like a regular WordPress. The user will be admin, and the password will be password. Nothing confidential, I can show. Then I click on login, and you're gonna see I'm gonna end up on the admin from my WordPress. And the last thing I want to show you about this is that actually my plugin is here and already installed on my WordPress local environment. So actually, if I want to work with it, I'm able to roam around and test different features. Later in another lesson, we're gonna see how to use that local environment to actually run automated tests, so we don't even have to go in the interface to like manipulate the different options and check manually that everything is going on. So now that we know how to use the tool, let's see how we can actually put it aside when like we don't need to work on that project, we need to work on another project, so we don't use the memory all of the time. So first, we have an option, as I told you, to stop the project. That means we won't delete the file, we just will stop the environment from running. And for that, we need to add a new script in our package.json npm stop that link to wp-env stop. Then when we run it, faster. My bad. When we run it, first maybe I need to show you that if I connect to Docker, my environment is running, and once I stop it, then you can see that bit by bit the environment is stopping itself. But you can also see that the environment still exists. It just stopped itself. So to actually delete it, we need to introduce another method, which gonna be do repeat destroy. But gonna totally remove the environment and all of the files. So we're gonna really clean up. Like in that case, I would advise you to use it like if you won't touch a project for a long time, because then you will have to rebuild it from scratch. Or maybe if you don't use the project anymore, you can just run the destroy command. When you're gonna run the destroy command, normally it's gonna ask you to confirm, because like you're gonna delete everything, the database, the container, all of the files which are not inside the plugin here, gonna be deleted. So here I say yes, and it's gonna be remove everything, and at the end my environment will be cleaned, and that way I can actually work on a couple of projects on my computer while not having too much like storage taken by this local environment. So now that we know how to control our environment, to start it, to stop it, to delete it, I want to show you a bit how to interact with the container themselves. And so for that, we're gonna create like a composer .json file, and we're gonna try to interact with it. So here, as you can see, I created my file, and then inside my package.json, I'm gonna add a new script that I'm gonna call composer. Then I'm gonna run wp-env. I'm gonna select, I'm gonna run my command. So as I'm gonna run a script, I select my environment, that would be the CLI environment. Then I select with like a parameter the place I'm gonna run my command. So it's gonna be in WP contents plugins, and like the name of my plugin. So here you can see the name of my plugin is WordPress env. So I'm gonna type the exact same thing. You need to know that by default, if you are working with a plugin, it's gonna be installed at that path. And then like I type composer to run the composer command. Then I go in the CLI, I run my script, and normally it should display me. Oh, okay. Sorry, current working directory. This is my mistake. And now I run the command again, and you can see that I can access my composer. And so if I want, I can just install my composer by using composer install. And you can see that like I actually have some like file that appear on my project, and also the composer lock that appear on the project. It's because like the file within the container are mapped with my local file. So if anything change on the container, then it also appears on my local. Another good example to that would be to use mapping. Okay, so last thing I want to show you is about like mapping another folder than the plugin folder. It's like useful sometimes because, for example, when you are working with files, you will have all the time to check in the container. And if you are mapping instead, you will be able to check directly inside your project. So for that, we need to create a new file, which will be wp-env.json. Inside, we put open a JSON. Actually, we can put a lot of configuration inside that. For example, if we use core, we can use we can pick the version we want from WordPress. If we put PHP, we can select our PHP version, etc. The thing is, we want here is mapping. So we're just gonna create a key mapping, and we're gonna put the mapping we want. We want the upload folder, so wp content, content uploads, to be mapped with our local folder uploads, which is right here. So each time we're gonna modify something in one of these files, it's gonna be available in the other. And then we need to destroy the environment and rerun it again. So let's go. Yes. As you can see here, the environment is destroyed, and now we need to recreate it, and it's gonna like take into account our configuration file that can map our folder, local folder upload with the Docker upload folder. Let's go. So now our environment is installed, and if I go to my local environment, and if I go to my local environment, you can see that like nothing changed, but like actually if we go to the back office, we go inside the media and we upload a new media, then you will be able to see the difference. Here you can see it's upload, and when you check inside upload, you can see that actually my file is also uploaded on my local environment, and that both folders are synchronized. So if you delete something inside that folder, it will be deleted inside the WordPress, and the opposite.